In this video, we'll be taking a look at 5 MLB games happening on April 25th, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 10 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 5 MLB games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Miami Marlins versus Seattle Mariners. The Miami Marlins will face off against the Seattle Mariners on Friday evening, kicking off a 3-game series. The Marlins have been performing better than expected recently, having won 3 of their last 4 games, which includes a solid series victory over the Reds. On the other hand, the Seattle Mariners might enter this series with a bit of complacency. They've just wrapped up 3 straight series against tough contenders, the Rangers, Blue Jays, and Red Sox. As a result, the opening game of this series could end up being a potential trap for Seattle. The Marlins pitcher, Cal Quantrill, has been steady on the mound, allowing 3 or fewer runs in 2 of his last 3 appearances. Quantrill has also done well against the Mariners in his career, with a 3.98 earned run average across 20.1 innings pitched. Meanwhile, Logan Gilbert, the Mariners pitcher, has been solid, but he hasn't received much offensive support in his starts. In fact, Seattle has scored 4 runs or fewer in 4 out of his 5 outings this season. Logan Gilbert is undoubtedly a talented pitcher with impressive career stats, particularly against the Marlins. However, even though the Mariners have won 5 series in a row, they have lost the first game in each of the last 3 series, before bouncing back strong as the series progresses. Julio Rodriguez stands out as the only Mariners player with decent career numbers against Quantrill, while other key hitters, including Randy Arozarena and Jorge Polanco, are struggling with batting averages of .111 or worse, or even failing to register a hit. The Marlins offense, on the other hand, has been firing on all cylinders early in the season. As our first pick for this matchup, the Miami Marlins to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Miami's offense has been a pleasant surprise, putting up 29 runs in their last 6 games. This includes an impressive 19 runs in just 3 games against the Phillies. On the flip side, Seattle has struggled to generate offense, having scored just 23 runs over their last 5 games, while the Mariners have shown they can be dangerous at the plate, with 5 or more runs in 5 of their last 8 games. I expect Cal Quantrill to keep them under control. That said, he has been inconsistent, walking 8 batters in his last 2 outings, and the Marlins bullpen, ranked 20th overall, is not exactly a strength. The over has been a reliable pick for Miami, with a 6-2 record in their past 8 games. In previous years, this matchup might have been focused heavily on elite pitching. And while that still plays a role, both teams are now ranking in the top half of the league in terms of runs scored. In fact, 2 of their 3 meetings last season saw 9 or more total runs. For the Marlins, the over is 7-3 in their last 10 games, with an average of 5.2 runs scored per game during that stretch. The Mariners, meanwhile, are 6-4 in their last 10 games when it comes to the over, and in 7 of those games, they've tallied 8 or more total runs. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Tampa Bay Rays versus San Diego Padres. The Rays are heading to Petco Park in San Diego, California, for their upcoming series against the Padres. Currently, Tampa Bay sits at the bottom of the American League East with a record of 10-14. On the other hand, San Diego is leading the National League West with a much stronger record of 17-8. The Padres had the upper hand against the Rays in 2024, winning 2 out of 3 games in their series. When it comes to home performance, the Padres have been outstanding, winning 12 of their last 13 games at Petco Park. Meanwhile, the Rays have struggled on the road, losing 4 of their last 5 away games. San Diego's offense has been particularly effective against right-handed pitchers, which works in their favor considering that Baz, the Rays pitcher, has been inconsistent lately. Over his past 3 starts, he has allowed 8 runs, which doesn't bode well for Tampa Bay, especially with the team's bullpen also facing difficulties. This combination of factors will make it tough for the Rays to hold off the Padres' high-powered offense. The Rays will likely find it challenging to score score runs in this matchup, as Padres pitcher King has been exceptional, especially at home. In his 3 home starts, he's given up just 3 runs. With San Diego boasting the best bullpen in the league, they should be able to keep Tampa Bay's bats quiet throughout the game. Looking at recent performances, the Padres have a solid 3-1 record in their last 4 home games against the Rays. Tampa Bay has only managed a 1-3 record as underdogs on the road this season, which does not inspire much confidence. The Rays have also been struggling offensively, and this might hurt them when facing the elite pitching staff of the Padres. While the Padres have cooled off a bit since their dominant 14-3 start, they're still a force to be reckoned with, especially at home. King, in particular, has been on a roll. In his last 25.1 innings, he's allowed just 16 hits and 5 runs while striking out 28. In contrast, Baz was just roughed up by the Yankees, giving up 5 runs in 3.1 innings. He's had a few starts this season where he's had trouble with his control. Despite the Padres' slight dip in performance recently, they remain one of the most impressive teams in the league, and with King in top form, they seem poised to continue their success. Although the Rays have one of the better pitching staffs in baseball, the Padres' pitching is at an entirely different level. If the game goes into the bullpen, San Diego's depth and ability to maintain their strong pitching will likely give them the advantage to outlast the Rays' offense. Considering all the factors, the line for this matchup seems quite fair. As our first pick for this matchup, the San Diego Padres money line is our full game side pick. The Rays are averaging 4.25 runs per game this season but have struggled recently, putting up only 2.33 runs per game over their last 3. They're hitting .275 against right-handed pitchers but will face a starter who has been tough at home, giving up only 3 runs in his last 3 starts and hasn't allowed a run in his previous 2 home outings. On the other hand, the Padres are averaging 4.12 runs per game but have scored only 2 runs per game in their last 3. They're hitting .270 against right-handers and will face a pitcher who has allowed 8 runs in his 4 starts this season and gave up 2 runs in his only previous start against the Rays. The Padres have an over-under record of 4-8-1 at home this season, while the Rays have a 2-4-1 over-under record in their last 7 games. Both teams rely heavily on their pitching, which results in a more defensive style of play. When 2 teams like this meet, it often leads to fewer runs being scored. Given the Rays' offensive struggles and the fact that the Padres' pitching has been solid, it's unlikely that either team will score enough to push the total over the projected line. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Chicago White Sox versus Athletics. The MLB betting action for 2025 continues on Friday, April 25th, with a full slate of 15 games taking place across the league. One of the highlights of the day is the American League matchup at Sutter Health Park in Sacramento, California, where the Chicago White Sox are set to face the Oakland Athletics. So far this season, the Chicago White Sox have only managed to win 2 games in a row once, and I'm not particularly excited about backing Burke in this matchup. Over the course of 21.2 innings pitched, Burke has given up 24 hits and 15 earned runs. The Athletics have already had success against him this year, having tagged him for 6 hits and 5 runs in just 3.1 innings. The Athletics, on the other hand, come into this game following a solid series win over the Rangers. Severino has been more than solid recently, allowing just 7 hits and 2 runs over his last 13.2 innings. While Severino has struggled in Sacramento this season, he's a seasoned veteran who should be able to bounce back and get the job done sooner rather than later. It's easy to make a case for the White Sox as heavy underdogs, especially with the temptation of plus money, since you wouldn't usually expect the Athletics to be the kind of favorites they are in this matchup. However, the Athletics have been hitting well lately, and honestly, I just can't rely on the White Sox to put together consistent offensive performances. Severino has faced some tough teams at home and has managed to hold his own, including a solid performance against a hot Mets team. I believe he has the ability to shut down the White Sox, who have been struggling to score more than 3 runs in most of their recent games. Even though the price might seem crazy for 2 teams that are both below average right now, I'm still going with the Athletics. As our first pick for this matchup, the Athletics to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The White Sox are in a tough spot, struggling across the board and especially when it comes to putting runs on the board. They currently rank 28th in baseball for total runs scored, averaging just 3.4 runs per game, and even worse, just 2.6 runs per game over their last 11 outings. With Luis Severino on the mound, the White Sox lineup should have a hard time finding success, especially considering Severino has been excellent in his first 5 starts. He's allowed just 1 run in each of his last 2 appearances, and he's well positioned to have another strong outing against the struggling White Sox. While the A's should be able to score more than their season average in this game, they may need to do even more than that if the over is going to hit. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Pittsburgh Pirates versus Los Angeles Dodgers. The Los Angeles Dodgers will be playing host to the Pittsburgh Pirates at Dodger Stadium for an exciting matchup. Yoshinobu Yamamoto has been in incredible form recently, having allowed just 1 unearned run over his last 3 starts and a total of 19 innings. This means the Pirates' offense will face a tough challenge when they go up against him. Over the past 10 days, the Dodgers bullpen has shown some vulnerability with a 4.22 earned run average and 4.06 Fahrenheit IP. However, it's worth noting that during this stretch, they've been up against the red-hot Chicago Cubs 5 times, which has likely contributed to those numbers. On the other hand, the Pirates' bullpen has been performing well with a 3 earned run average and a 2.55 Fahrenheit IP over the last 10 days. Despite this, Pittsburgh's offense isn't considered top tier, and they haven't faced Yamamoto yet, which puts them in a difficult position. The Dodgers continue to hit home runs at one of the highest rates in baseball, and they've been even more dangerous at home. The Pirates, however, have had trouble with consistency, especially on the road, where they've posted their worst splits this season. Additionally, Pittsburgh ranks in the bottom 10 for strikeout rate, and their pitching staff is among the bottom 5 in strikeouts thrown. As our first pick for this matchup, the Los Angeles Dodgers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. With both Paul Skeens and Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the mound, this is a matchup that clearly favors the Dodgers. I've already mentioned Yamamoto's impressive stretch of performances, but we also need to consider Skeens. He had a rough outing against St. Louis on April 8, but outside of that, he's allowed just 4 runs over his last 2 starts, spanning 13 innings. When looking at his numbers, it's clear he's been solid, as he ranks in the 93rd percentile for expected earned run average and the 86th percentile for expected batting average. Against Skeens, the current Dodgers lineup is 8 for 3-2 with a double and 3 home runs. Meanwhile, Yamamoto ranks in the 91st percentile for expected earned run average and the 84th percentile for expected batting average, making this a game featuring 2 top-tier pitchers. It's shaping up to be an exciting matchup that's bound to be a joy to watch. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Texas Rangers versus San Francisco Giants. On Friday, the Texas Rangers will face off in Game 1 of a 3-game series on the road in Northern California, right by the Bay, against the San Francisco Giants. The key factor in this matchup will likely be hitting with runners in scoring position. The Rangers are ranked 18th in the league with a .664 team OPS in those situations, while the Giants have been much stronger, sitting at 8th with a .791 team OPS when they have runners in scoring position. Another big difference is in the bullpen performance. The Giants' bullpen has been outstanding, ranking 3rd in MLB with a 2.53 earned run average, while the Rangers' bullpen sits in the middle of the pack at 15th with a 3.68 earned run average so far. The Giants have been playing well recently, winning 6 of their last 10 games, including 2 out of 3 when these teams faced off last season. I've been impressed with how the Giants have been playing at home lately, especially against right-handed pitchers. They're sporting an impressive 14-2 record when facing teams that start right-handed pitchers. On the other hand, the Rangers have had some struggles on the road early this season, and I think the Giants take the first game of this series. As our first pick for this matchup, the San Francisco Giants money line is our full game side pick. Both teams have been struggling with OPS this season, with Texas ranked 22nd in the league with a .670 team OPS, and San Francisco slightly better at 17th with a .707 team OPS. Their batting averages on balls in play haven't helped their offense much either. The Rangers are near the bottom at 27th with a .257 via BIP, while the Giants are a bit better at 18th with a .278 via BIP. When these teams have faced each other recently, the under has hit 7 out of the last 10 games. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.